Welcome to my Christopher Nolan small-scale research shot-for-shot remake director's vlog, director's video. Anyway, so I started this process by first of all picking a clip that I really liked from my favorite Christopher Nolan film, Memento. I decided to pick the shave scene, where it's one of the very first story notes, black and white story notes. And I picked it because it's only got one actor and one setting, which means that I can shoot it in one sitting. Yeah. So after picking the clip, I then watched it again and again and again and produced a shot list. I decided to go against the storyboard because first of all, I'm not a very good drawer, and second of all, I believed a shot list would be easier when I was shooting to reference, because I could see exactly the camera angle and exactly the camera movement needed in that shot in order to get it as accurate as possible, which helped when we were filming it. Because in order to get it as accurate as possible, I need every angle to be the same and every movement to be the same also, while staying consistent within Christopher Nolan's timing. So how I did that is I got my actor, and me as well, to watch this scene, the exact shot that we were trying to replicate before shooting, and sometimes even during shooting, I'd have it playing so that I can watch and move it exactly in time as Christopher Nolan moved it. This was especially useful during when the actor had Memento's shot where it's the shave note written on his thigh, and also when he's putting the shaving cream on his thigh. Those two parts, it was very useful having it playing in real time as we were shooting, because the actor could see the timing of when he had to put it down and throw it, and also I could see the camera movement that's required in those shots. After filming it, I then uploaded the dailies onto my laptop during Premiere Pro, and I organized it by the shot number on my shot list. This helped me keep very organized when I was editing, and it's a very professional way of storing your footage, which will be useful when I'm doing my short film, which will have probably hundreds of shots in it in the course of the 5-minute film. After organizing my dailies, I then uploaded the Christopher Nolan's Memento scene into Premiere Pro. I then set markers on Premiere Pro of every cut of Christopher Nolan's Memento, so that my footage would cut exactly at the same time Christopher Nolan's would cut. I then also put markers of where Christopher Nolan timed his other things that happened during the scene. For example, when he takes the shaving cream out of the bag, I put a marker there so that when I was editing it, I saw the actor in Memento takes the shaving cream out of the bag at this very moment, so my actor has to do it at that very moment too, to keep it as accurate as possible. So that's how I got all the shots and all the cuts looking very similar. After editing it and getting every cut as close to the real thing as possible and all the movements in it, I then had to record a narration of Christopher Nolan's during the scene. I did this by listening to it and writing down a script, and then cross-reference this by looking at the actual script of Memento online to make sure that I got all the lines correct. I then used voice memos on my phone to record each line, and then uploaded that onto Premiere Pro and I tried to put it where Christopher Nolan put the actor's narration, but it was hard because I would say it a little faster or a little slower than the actual piece, and I would try to time it as right as possible, but that turned out to be very hard to do. So in the end, I believe I created a sequence that is very similar to Christopher Nolan's piece. The only problem I have in mind is when, I'll show the clip right now. So it's this scene where he's taking the shaving cream out of the bag and the razor blades out of the bag. This was hard because our counter in the bathroom is much lower than in uh, Christopher Nolan's location, wherever he shot it. So when he's searching for the bag, you get his hands and his face in one shot. Whereas because the counter is very low, his hands would be down here and his face up here, whereas in Christopher Nolan's one it was there. So it was easy to get, for him it was easier to get hands and face in one shot. So that's why mine didn't have that. And also because if I tried to get both his head and his hands in the same shot, my iPhone camera would become apparent in the mirror, which is not very good continuity. So I decided against those shots. So to conclude, thank you so much for watching my director's blog. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it described to you as closely as possible my process of creating the shot-for-shot remake. I had fun doing it. It was nice, and it was cool watching my shot-for-shot remake right next to Christopher Nolan's and seeing how similar I made it. And also the color grading I did, I think it was as consistent as his. So yeah, and I hope to see you in my next director's blog, whenever that is. Alright.